Good morning, everybody. I'm Elisabetta Ranucci, Congress Chair, and this is the opening ceremony of the Milan Polymer Days Congress. The organizing and scientific committees of the Milan Polymer Days International Congress are pleased to welcome you to the MIPOL 2021 Congress virtual edition. Milan Polymer Days is a Congress series organized on an annual basis by a group of scientists of the University of Milan, under the auspices of the Italian Society of Chemistry, the Italian National Consortium for Science and Technology of Materials, and the University of Milan. The 2021 edition is actually the fifth one. When we started in 2017, the idea was to organize a one-day workshop focused on polymers and invited to Milan colleagues and friends. Many more delegates than what we had originally expected registered, and they were from different countries. Their enthusiastic participation encouraged us to continue because it demonstrated that the research in polymer science is so significant. The mission of the Milan Polymer Days Congress is to provide an international forum for discussing the results of the scientific research in all disciplines of polymer science and technology. And indeed, the scientific committee welcomes contributions from all sectors of polymer science and technology. Our ideal community is as large as possible. We aim to bring together scientists with diverse backgrounds, both academic and industrial, from around the world. The objectives are many, as already stated, the widest scope possible, so that everybody possibly feels home in our congresses. Secondly, the quality of science is a priority, and we think that we have achieved this result with the help of the excellent members of our scientific committee. Thirdly, we aim at including as many young scientists as possible. This is for us an important target. From our side, Milan Polymer Days is much more than a congress. It represents the opportunity to meet new friends, collaborators, and to create a community. We sincerely hope that MIPOL events have contributed, and we continue contributing, to create a professional network for many scientists. As regards the 2021 edition, it is taking place virtually. We really do hope that this will be the last time. After the experience of the MIPOL 2020 edition, when we had to suddenly convert the originally planned and organized in-person version into a virtual one, we discussed in our group if it was worth to organize a second virtual edition. We concluded that it would be a pity that scientists could miss an opportunity to share the results of their research and contribute to the progress of scientific knowledge. In particular, we were concerned that the Congress cancellation could be detrimental to the young scientists who are creating their own position in society. Since it was not possible to predict when large gatherings of people would be allowed, we decided not to give up, but rather to carry on the Congress in the only conceivable way. Fortunately, most colleagues and young scientists enthusiastically accepted to participate, demonstrating the strength and the passion for science. We are proud of this result, that many of you from so many different countries every year join us in this exciting experience. Reminds us all how attractive is the research in polymer science and technology. But how is the MIPOL 2021 Congress structured, and what are the main topics covered? The novelty of this year is that we have dedicated an entire day to the poster session. All poster presenters had the opportunity to present their work and discuss with the audience. Many brilliant senior scientists have accepted to act as chairpersons and members of the Young Scientist Poster Work Competition. It has been indeed a very interesting and stimulating experience. The winners of the poster work competition will be awarded at the end of Congress. As for the MIPO 2021 program, the organizing committee has maintained the original objectives. That is to welcome communications in all fields of polymer science and technology, as already stated. However, every year we notice that the presentations focus on some prevailing lines. For example, in the MIPO 2020 edition, there was a large session dedicated to microplastics. This year, we have received many requests of contributions on bioactive polymers and nanomedicine, along with many other interesting topics. Let me summarize them. Bioactive polymers and composites, advanced polymer characterization, polymer processing, physical properties of polymers, polymer characterization, molecular modeling, synthesis of complex macromolecular architecture, polymers and environment, which means recycling, nanoplastics, sustainable chemistry, eco-friendly materials, bioplastics, polymers from renewable sources. Then we have polymer flame retardants and polymeric biomaterials. Then we were able to gather a fantastic group of senior speakers and attracting a number of smart young scientists. I'm repeating again, but I think they deserve this. We are grateful to the members of the scientific committee for helping us to do so. Now it is my duty to acknowledge the contribution of all sponsors that helped to make MIPO 2021 a reality. We are also grateful to the University of Milan and the Italian Society of Chemistry that provide annually an economic contribution to this event. Now it is my pleasure and honor to invite the Delegate Vice-Rector for the Coordination and Promotion of Research of the University of Milan, Professor Maria Pia Abbracchio, to take her welcome speech on behalf of our institution. Good morning, Maria Pia. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Elisabetta, and it's a real pleasure to be here today, and I feel very honored and glad to welcome all the participants to this meeting, which, as Elisabetta has already very well summarized, it's the most important activity organized by the Milan Polymer Initiative, an initiative that was born here at our university several years ago as an initiative taken by Professor Ranucci herself, Professor Ferruti, and Professor Alongi, with the aim of promoting basic and applied research on polymers, and with the aim, of course, of transmitting knowledge in this field through teaching to young students, PhD students, and young postdocs. But also, as far as I have seen, from the information on this initiative, but also extend scientific communication to colleagues from both the academies, industry, and all interested stakeholders, all science professionals, and the society at large, which is also, very, very important. So, and I'm very glad also to welcome participants, not only from Italy, but I've seen from a number of foreign countries like France, Poland, Portugal, Denmark, Belgium, and India. So welcome to the 5th edition of the Congress, which unfortunately we are still holding remotely due to the pandemic, but I'm sure that this edition will replicate the great success that the meeting had last year, despite, the need for a virtual meeting instead of a presence meeting. I was also very, very happy to see the attention that has been given by this Congress to young people, to young postdoc, through the poster session day. So the meeting actually started with the poster session that has been held yesterday, where young people had the chance to present and discuss their results. And also, to take part to the poster award competition. And it's always very highly significant and very nice to start with young people, because they are the future. They will be, responsible for continuing the research that we are doing now. Going through the program, I have been able to see a number of very timely contributions, not only, of course, on the synthesis and optimized techniques to synthesize polymers and biopolymers, but also, first of all, on their application. And I have, as a pharmacologist, I am basically a pharmacology. So I was very glad, of course, to see a number of papers presenting applications of polymers and biopolymers to medicine, pharmacology, and theranostics as well, for the nanodelivery and efficacy implementation of drugs for major human diseases, which is a very, very interesting topic. Also, since there is an important focus on the synthesis of functional polymers. But I have also been able to see contributions on topics that are extremely relevant at the moment and that are stimulating a very lively discussion in the scientific community regarding plastic waste, plastic pollution, and of course, new methodologies to increase the circularity of plastics for a more sustainable production of these products, with a strong focus on environmental protection. Now, as you know, and at least our Italian participants do know, our Ministry for Research and Education has just published the 21-27 Italian National Program for Research and Innovation, which, identifies a number of research priorities on which we are encouraged to work on for the next 5 years or so. And many of the topics that are treated here at the Congress are highly relevant to these priorities. These priorities are also highly consistent with the missions that have been indicated by our government in the so-called PNRR, Next Generation Year program, which is the national program for the restart and resilience after the pandemic. And as everybody knows, this is something that is occurring in all European countries. Each country has identified priorities which are highly relevant, to restart all our activities. And the PNR, the National Program for Research and Innovation, has identified the topics that have been also transmitted and shared by the PNRR. So, and in the PNRR, I have been, very lucky, and I have had the privilege to contribute to parts of the Italian PNR 2021-2027 program. These programs have been written of course, with in mind, all the activities and what we wanted to do to go back, to the pre-pandemic situation, so all what we have to do in terms of research and policies to return, to our pre-pandemic life and to our pre-pandemic habits. However, both these programs, both the PNR and the PNRR Next Generation Italy, have been also written with something else in mind. We don't really want a full return to the past. We want to learn from the past. We want to learn from the pandemic, and we want to avoid the mistakes that we have done in the past and that have contributed to the viral outbreak, to the pandemic. Certainly, the exaggerated environmental exploitment and also pollution have given an enormous contribution to the outbreak of the pandemic. And for this reason, we want to learn from our mistakes, and we want to rethink our research and our policies in a more sustainable way, in a less invasive, in an environmental friendly way, in order to avoid future problems and future pandemics. And as I have seen, this is exactly, the indications that comes from many of the papers that will be presented in these 2 days. And it is, with this in mind, and also with, all our very, very best wishes from both myself and from our rector, Professor Elio Franzini, that we welcome you in Milan and wish you the very, very best and productive works for these very valuable days. So good work, and hopefully we'll see each other next year in presence in Milan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Maria Pia. Thank you once more for your very interesting speech, for your encouragement. And again, thanks to the University of Milan for supporting us. For sure, we are looking forward to meet you and all our participants in person in Milan next year.